What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. I'm also going to talk about why it's very possible for the market to bounce to some extent if we see some levels hold, and then where the market will go after that, in my personal opinion. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or sign up with my QR code that's right over here. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia. Deposit $10,000 to get $300 worth, and deposit $50,000 to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, which includes a 4.1% APY base rate plus a 4% APY extra for 3 months. And the offer is very, very soon. So please check out my links down below to get these benefits and those free Nvidia shares. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the stock market. So I just want to mention that the market's going to be in a critical place today. On the 4-hour close of this candle, I want to see if we could hold 639 or very close to that area, right? If we could essentially hold around here on the 4-hour close, there's a good chance that this will eventually try to reaccumulate and see a temporary bounce for that 641 to 642 area. We might see a temporary bounce. Now, even if we do bounce all the way up there, this could also be forming, a downtrend right over here. And if we reject, there's a possibility we just kind of like turn back down and just continue to fall afterwards. But there might be some kind of temporary bounce coming. Keep in mind that for today, it is Wednesday, August 20th. At 10:30 a.m., we have some crude oil data coming out, which is very, very minor. It's not too serious. At 11:30, we essentially have the 17-week bill auction. At 1 p.m., we have the 20-year bond auction. These auctions are not that important. But at 2 p.m., this is the most important time, we have the FOMC minutes. So the FOMC minutes is going to be a report about FOMC, and it's going to give us more insights about what these other Fed officials are saying. And we're going to see how this affects our probability of getting a rate cut in September. Does this go up? Does this go down? What are the Fed officials going to be saying? I think it's going to cause a big move in the stock market. So we'll see if that helps the market bounce to some extent or not. We're going to have to watch that just to be safe. Now, some more news. We have, our Treasury Secretary Bessent saying that they're making lots of progress with negotiating with China so far, and there could be like more announcements coming after that. And then on top of this, don't forget that at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there's going to be a big event in the upcoming days with Jerome Powell giving a speech very soon, within 2 days. So that could be very impactful for markets soon. Besides that, there's nothing else too crazy on the news, except for I just want to add we had some earnings that are quite significant. So we just had Target and TJ Maxx announce their earnings. Unfortunately, Target shares are down despite the fact that they beat on EPS and revenue, despite having decent guidance. Their CEO is going to be stepping down since the share price is down. And then for TJ Maxx, the parent company has beaten expectations and raised their full year guidance. So that's some bullish news for them. That's why the share price is up. Anyways, when it comes to President Trump, we already went over this yesterday. He essentially is going to be expanding the 50% tariffs to include an additional 407 types of goods. So that's very important. And then besides that, we're going to see how well the market could hold up. So we're going to see, can we hold above this support to form sort of like an inverse head and shoulders? If you look at like the 30 minutes time frame, we could be forming one right here on SPY, or are we about to reject and see another leg down? Well, in order to determine this, we have to look at some key levels. The levels are what's going to give us that information to see if we're about to get a rejection or not. So I'm going to talk about the levels and I'll break down exactly what this means. As far as SPY is going, I want to see us essentially hold above this level right here, at least on the 4-hour close. So if you're a bear on SPY, you want to see us essentially fail at 638. If that fails us, we could retest the low. And if that fails, we dip all the way down to 635 if we're bearish. If we can't hold 637.5, expect 635 pretty easily. Okay. So if you want to set stops, that's going to be a very important level. 637.5 is your support. If you're a bull, you want to see SPY essentially hold 639. On the 4-hour close, even if we get a small dip and bounce, if 639 holds, I think we could be rebounding for the low 640s. 641 to 642 is going to likely be tested. And then we will see if we get a rejection from there. right back down to form another leg down. We're going to see how it ends up going. I want to see us hold 639 on the 4-hour close of this candle. If we could hold it, there's a chance we might be looking for a temporary bounce move, but it depends. I would not be afraid to set stops in case this fails. So hopefully we could hold 639, see a temporary bounce. I do want to see if that's going to be the case. And then we'll see if we reject or not on SPY. On the QQQ identical setup, we also have an inverse head and shoulders on the 30 minutes time frame. We need to get back above essentially very close to like 570. If 570 breaks, we're easily going for like 572, and then we'll see if we reject off that. But if we lose 566, we're looking for a dump. My guts tells me that with this accumulation, we could be rebounding for essentially 570 to 572. Then we'll see if we reject and start dipping lower. There might be a temporary bounce as long as we don't lose 566. We might try to push back up to like 572, and then we'll see what happens after that. For the IWM, we're also forming an inverse head and shoulders here. We could be retesting 227 or so, and then we'll see if we reject or not. I think 227 to 228 could be tested, and we'll see if it rejects. There might be a temporary bounce as long as we don't lose 225. On ES, it's trying a rebound right here. It's trying to get back above this resistance around 64.28. If we do that, I think we push for 64.50. And then we'll see if we reject or not. But if we end up losing essentially 6,400 flat, we're looking for a dump. This might try to bounce a bit for 64.15. We'll see if it rejects. NQ may also try to rebound. We could be trying to get back above 23,525. And we'll see if we reject or not. This does look bearish, but there could be a temporary bounce if we could hold above 23,425. If we hold this, look for a rebound for like the 23,600 zone, then we'll see if we reject off that or not. Bitcoin is also trying to rebound. It could be trying to rebound for about 115,000. We'll see if that rejects. Tesla is, I'm in the middle with Tesla. We need to get back above 329 to rebound. If we can't, there's going to likely be a rejection. We could just continue to fall back down to new lows. So let's see if we get some kind of bounce or not. On Nvda, we're trying to rebound. We have kind of like an inverse head and shoulders. If we lose 174, we're looking for a dump. But if this could bounce, we're looking for essentially 178. Then we'll see if we end up turning back down from there. But I think there could be a temporary bounce. For Appl, if we end up losing, well, we need to reclaim 230. If we can't, this could dip closer to like 225. We'll see if this reclaims 230 for a temporary bounce move, and then we'll see if it kind of like turns down after that or not. For AMD, we're going to see if we bounce off this trend line. This could take us back up to like 170, and we'll see if it rejects there. Coinbase is trying to bounce back up for essentially 310, and then we'll see if it rejects as well. Amazon's kind of flat here. We need to hold 226. If it holds, we're looking for a small rebound before we continue to dip. But if 226 fails, we're looking for a dip to about 222. Meta needs to hold essentially 745. If it holds, we could be looking for an attempt to rebound for like the mid 750s. This could become support, becoming resistance. And then we'll see if we turn back down from there. Google has support at 200. We got to hold 200 on Google. If so, we're looking for 202.8. And we'll see if we kind of like slow down or not. Microsoft could also rebound for essentially 514, and we'll see how it ends up going from there. There might be a small rebound. So it looks like the market may try some kind of rebound move, especially as the VIX is dipping. But then here's what I think is going to happen. I think that it's just a temporary move. This could be an inverse head and shoulders on the VIX. The VIX could also dip a little bit, meaning the market may bounce before this eventually breaks out, before the VIX sees a big bounce. That could be a sign the market's going to try to push a little higher before it gets a potential rejection. So that's what we could be looking for. We'll see how well we hold up. So watch and see if we could hold 639 on the 4-hour close. So just go to your 4-hour and just see what the candle looks like. If we hold 639, I think this could bounce. But if not, if we lose 638, we might retest the low here. And if 637.5 fails us, we're going to be dumping more. So we'll see if we bounce. There is potential to bounce temporarily before we turn back down. Don't forget, we have the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for listening, and peace out.